Hey guys, welcome back to yet another match preview video. Today has been really cool because I was also on Eunice's channel kind of talking about the season in general so far. So if you haven't checked out that stream, definitely do so because it was a really great conversation. And today I'm joined with Nick from That Chelsea Pod. I was on his podcast. I feel like it was only a few weeks ago, but it feels like so much longer because so much has happened since then. I don't know. But we're going to be talking about the Barnsley game tomorrow. So make sure to get your questions in. We're going to try to get to all of them. And yeah, so Nick, how are you doing today?
Oh, I'm good, Ellie. Thanks for having me on. It was a pleasure having you on our podcast a few weeks ago, I think after we beat Fulham. So yeah, you're right. A lot has changed since then, and it's a real pleasure to be on your channel. Looking forward to discussing the game against Barnsley tomorrow.
Cool. So I'm just going to kind of like get right into it because we are having some questions pop up, and I just you guys know me by now. I just kind of go with the flow, get your questions in and everything. So Ravi asked, big up Elizabeth. Thank you so much. Where do you realistically see Chelsea finishing this season? And Nick, I'll throw this one to you.
I think we're going to get top four. I think that I've seen enough, and I know it's only 4 games in, and I know you can expect a new manager bounce, but the fact we've closed the gap so quickly to top 4, I think we'll get top 4. I reckon, we might just sneak 4th.
Yeah, my gut is telling me 4th as well. I do think that we've had a really good run of games so far. It's very, what's the word? I lack words so hard after a day at work. I'm so tired. I can't speak English. It's good signs, that Tuchel has come in, won a couple of games in a row. And I said this before, that these games are games that normally Chelsea may have drawn or lost as well, because they're games against low block sides that Chelsea historically really struggled against. So I'm glad to see that we're at least getting wins, keeping clean sheets, scoring goals. And yeah, it's looking pretty good. So I don't want to get too high and mighty and say, we're going to come in 2nd or 3rd. I'm really not sure. But what I will say is that our competition really isn't looking great. Liverpool have been pretty shocking recently. Tottenham as well have not been in great form. Leicester, we know, can go either way. So that could, they could get it or they could drop out like they did last season. And I think Manchester United are probably the best out of all of the teams aside from City, but we know that they have a bad run in them as well. So it really is so incredibly open, but I do think that we can both agree Chelsea will probably end in the top 4. At least I really hope so. So we have another question, and it's about Kai Havertz, and it says, do you think that Kai Havertz can play as a second striker? And I think it's interesting because we really have not seen Kai Havertz implemented in this Tuchel system yet. There's been a couple of games. I think he might have been injured or had a minor niggle for a couple of them perhaps, but I don't see him displacing Mason Mount in that kind of 10 role. So one, do you think that Kai Havertz gets into the current formation? Let's just stick with it. And 2, do you think that he can play as the second striker?
Oh, this is tough because you say current formation. We've seen the sort of Jorginho and Kovacic duo midfield. It's taken up, there's one less spot now, and Mason in current form, you'd argue, starts. Also lends the question: can Mason and Kai play in the same team together? I think I can't remember who I said this to at the start of the season, but I have my doubts that they both could. But we'll see. I think as the question about was it a second striker? I don't know. We'll have to see. Look, it's early days under Tuchel, but I'd like to see. I think Kai will start tomorrow, hopefully, and hopefully he can impress.
Yeah, I do think that we could potentially see him in that role. I think we've been seeing Pulisic in that role as well, occasionally when Callum is still on the pitch. So it could be something, and perhaps I think him and Timo actually have pretty good chemistry as well. So I think that it's a role that we could see him in, but I think we would primarily see him a little bit further down the pitch, maybe as a 10 if Mason isn't playing. But like we said before, we don't really know which formation Tuchel is going to go for either, right? Like it could potentially stay the same, but it could perfectly change tomorrow, and we just don't know. And I think that he's been brought in to try to accommodate all these players that Chelsea bought, because it doesn't make sense for them to just buy these players and have Kai Havertz sitting on the bench week after week. So I do think that we're going to see more of these players, but for now, he was probably brought in to kind of like stop the goals from leaking, start getting some wins, start to figure out everybody's strengths and weaknesses, how he can play the team, how they can work together in a starting 11 as well. And yeah, so short answer, I think it's possible. Do I think that we'll see it a lot? Probably not too much. So you guys have been waiting all day for this. That's so nice of you. Thank you so much.
David's comment on the screen.
Gotta do a shout, Blues FPL. I have to give a shout out to Blues FPL because they literally are in all of my streams. So thank you so much for watching all of my streams. That's insane. And is Kepa going to be given a start tomorrow? Matt Law broke some news today that Mourinho wants to get him some more game time. And I'll just quickly speak on this. I do think that Kepa is going to start, because why would you not start your second keeper usually in the FA Cup game at this stage of the competition? That's usually how it goes. But I think that Mourinho wants him to play, because if he plays, potentially he could make a couple of good saves and try to increase his value a little bit, and so that she can try to recoup the money that we spent on him, she's never going to do that ever. She would be lucky probably to get 25 million, I think. But I think that that's more or less the reasoning. But I personally would not be starting Kepa over Mendy in Premier League games, for example, just to try to increase his price, because I think that he could even decrease his price more potentially if he plays and makes like a really bad mistake. What about you, Nick?
Yeah, I'm with you on this. I think Kepa in the cup, I'm fine with, providing it's against lower league opposition. I think after this we're in the quarterfinals, and there's a lot of good sides left. And if we're in the quarterfinals, I'll be honest, I'd want to see Mendy back in goal, especially as it's probably our best chance of a trophy this season. So, yeah, look, as for the article, I've not read it, but look, he's a £72 million goalkeeper. Chelsea aren't going to want to make a loss on him. They're going to do everything they can to try and recover some of that value. So, look, if he plays tomorrow, good luck to him. We all want Kepa to succeed at Chelsea. We all want him to play well when he starts, and hopefully tomorrow he can put in a good performance and help us get through in the next round.
Yeah, no, I really hope so as well. But let's see. I don't, like you said, I don't think that he's going to be starting any Premier League games anytime soon. So we have a comment. We can't find Kai in training pictures. Yeah, when I was on Eunice's channel, we weren't like 100% sure if he would actually be in the team, because we didn't think that he started. Now that I think about it, that he trained, sorry. So Kai could potentially not be in the team because we didn't see training pictures, but I haven't heard anything. So I guess we'll see tomorrow. I don't know. So we have another question. It goes, or it's not really a question, it's a comment. Still waiting to see the real Ziyech. He's a great baller. And he's somebody that we haven't really seen under Tuchel, even though I think he has been fit. Maybe he's been dealing with injuries here and there, but he was back in the squad, and we haven't really even seen him as a substitute. So how are you feeling about that? What do you think the reason is? Do you think that we're going to see Ziyech?
Well, I think he started against Wolves, yes. I feel like he started the first game against Wolves. I could be very wrong on that. But from memory, I remember him playing. And then he was left out against Burnley for fitness reasons. I think they said he wasn't fit to start. And then Spurs, well, I guess we were 1-0 up. I think the Spurs and Sheffield United games is tough because we sort of had narrow leads. And he was probably thinking we need to try and, get more bodies on midfield who will help contribute more. I feel like with Ziyech, work rate is something you're not always necessarily going to get with him. We sort of saw what happened, I think, in the City game a few weeks back, with him just sort of watching that City sort of attack for their third goal develop. So, look, I think, we've got patience with him. As I said, Ziyech, I think, will start tomorrow, and, that's his chance to really shine and put his marker down.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think that, necessarily the system maybe isn't really fit for him right now. But like I said, we're not always going to see this. And we could see him play as a number 10, but it's a really good point that you make. Like, the wins that we've had have been really low margins, and you're not really going to bring on an attacking player when you're trying to defend that and hold on to it. And like you said, like his work rate could be a little suspect at times. Like if we're only 1-0 up, probably not worth bringing him on and potentially losing the ball or turning it over. So I totally get that. And I do think that we're going to see Ziyech tomorrow starting. Ravi also asked your thoughts on Ben Chilwell, and it's like so disappointing for me because he hasn't been playing well at all. And I really thought that Alonso coming back into the team was going to be something that pushed him even further. You know, I thought that he would try to play better because he doesn't have that spot nailed down. Under Lampard, he really was an out-and-out starter. You knew that Ben Chilwell was going to start left back. And now you don't really know, but he is playing as a left wing back. We know that it's not exactly the same set of skills either. But what have you thought about Ben Chilwell so far?
Yeah, sort of unfortunately for Ben, recently he's not sort of set the world alight. And to be honest, I thought, you know, when he got given his chance at the weekend against Sheffield United, he didn't really take it. I mean, we've got to remember, you know, thanks to VAR, his penalty which he gave away was overturned. And, you know, although, you know, he had a part to play in setting up the first goal, I don't think he was particularly outstanding. I think we'll have to see with Chilwell, because like the three at the back, we know it's Marcus Alonso at wing back is a different beast to what he is as a fullback. So I think it depends. I think if we move, you know, if we see move back to a back four, I think we'll see Chilwell start, and I think, you know, we'll probably see the best of him. But again, I could be wrong, but I don't know how much has Ben Chilwell played as a wing back in his career at Leicester and other clubs. I don't know. I haven't watched, you know, wouldn't have watched him enough to comment, but he's probably getting used to that position maybe. So yeah, just patience with him, I think. But again, you know, I think up till recently, he had a fairly solid season with us.
Yeah, and like I said, like we know with Marcus Alonso that being a great left wing back doesn't mean that you're a great left back, and vice versa, right? So it is a different set of skills. And I think it was Jay that made to this point that was like, when Marcus Alonso goes up the pitch, the midfield probably will cover for him because they know that he's slower and that they're going to have to cover for him. Whereas with Ben, it's like, can he get back in time? Can he not? And he might not be used to running so much as a left wing back because you really have to be up and down the flank the entire time. And perhaps like the midfield doesn't really know like if they should cover him and whatnot, so he doesn't end up going like so much up the pitch. And it could be a lot of things, but I do hope that he learns this role. I think that we could see him again in a back four. I don't think that we're going to be stuck with this 3-4-2-1 formation that we're seeing. And yeah, so I hope so. David Brandt has joined. Thank you so much, David.
Thank you, DB. Checking the post.
So I'm gonna try to keep this one kind of short, you guys, because I'm freaking starving. So let's jump into a starting 11 for Barnsley tomorrow. So at goalkeeper, I think that we would probably both start Kepa. What do you think? Yeah, and then
I'd start Kepa in goal.
And then I don't know which formation we're going. This could honestly be a game where we see a change in formation, because there's really no need to set up with 3 center backs against Barnsley. So we could see a back four tomorrow. What do you think?
Oh, this is tough. Like, you know, under previous managers, we could, you know, lineups were perhaps predictable and we could try and predict them. This is a different task altogether. But look, whatever happens, I'd probably like to see Chilwell given more minutes tomorrow, just to try and see getting used to sort of playing under Tuchel after sort of not being involved in 2 of the 4 games and then being subbed early in the other 2. So yeah, I'd like to see him probably start on the left. I'd imagine Christensen's at centre back. Zouma hopefully brought back in for this.
Yeah, right.
Try and get some minutes for him. Like I want Kurt Zouma in that Chelsea starting 11, Thomas. So please put him in. And then I guess if we're playing a 4, then I guess Reece, because I think he's been fairly short on minutes recently. So I guess if we're playing a back 4, Chilwell, Zouma, Christensen, Reece would probably be my back 4.
Yeah, and guys, let me know in the comments if you think that we're going to stick with the formation that we've seen or change it, because I really don't think you need to go 3 center backs against Barnsley. I really don't. So I personally would change the formation to maybe a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-3. Oh, it seems Nick's Okay, you're back.
Sorry, I don't know what happened there. I don't know what
No,
happened
no worries. Yeah, I'm seeing some comments for a 4-3-3. So could be interesting, you guys. So I guess let's go with that. Imagine we're playing in a 4-3-3. I think he did confirm, Tuchel, that N'Golo Kante is starting tomorrow, which is going to be good because I don't think that he's necessarily gotten that many minutes, and he's coming back from injury, and I don't think that he's looked absolutely great when he's been on the pitch. What about you?
Yeah, to be fair, I thought against Spurs he looked shaky, and that was probably the first time you'd probably hear me ever say like we look worse with N'Golo Kante on pitch. But to be fair, against Sheffield United, I thought he looked actually a lot better, and I did think he helped sort of calm us down a lot more. It probably also helped that he wasn't replacing Kovacic, and he was replacing someone else with the midfield got shored up. But as we said, Tuchel's very glowing of N'Golo in his press conference, so definitely have a part to play. And look, he needs minutes under his belt, and not he's not going to get a better chance for minutes than the cup game tomorrow, especially his Newcastle games after that as well. So yeah, N'Golo for me tomorrow, and if possible, I'd love to see Billy get a start, but we'll have to wait and see on that one.
He has to start this game for me, honestly, because after he wasn't I don't know if he wasn't allowed to go on loan or what necessarily happened with that, but I know that he was pushing to go on a loan, and he's still with the team now. And Tuchel came out and said, I think that he likes how Billy trains and that he's close to getting into the team. And obviously, with the Euros coming up as well, it's kind of almost a bigger deal. I think that he didn't go out on loan because he needs enough minutes to be able to get a spot in the Euro squad. So if Billy Gilmore does not start this game, I don't know what I would think. You know what I mean? It's a must-win game because we want to progress into the competition, and this is probably our only chance of winning a trophy this season. But Billy Gilmore, I think, is totally up to the task, and I just really hope that we see him starting in this game. So moving up the pitch, we have 4 more positions to fill, I think. I personally...
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Maybe we would see a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-3, but it can be dynamic. But since Havertz didn't train, I don't think that he is going to be in the squad, but I could be totally wrong. So I would probably play Ziyech as a 10. I think that could be interesting and give Mason a rest. What do you think?
That's not a bad shout at all, to be honest. I think if you've got that, then it also allows potentially Pulisic on the wings. Hopefully he get that first start under Tuchel, and then potentially give Callum a start on the wing, given how he was a sub against Sheffield United. But also, if maybe want to see or you put Ziyech out wide, and then maybe Tino Andrin. Obviously, maybe he could get the start slightly, higher up. But we'll wait and see. But either way, I'm pretty happy with, as long as we've seen Ziyech will start tomorrow. So yeah. Don't really mind where he plays, to be honest, because he's capable of performing wherever he's put on the pitch.
Yeah, this Tino Andrin is a really good shot as well. I hadn't thought about it, but I definitely want to see Tino get some minutes as well. So we could, if he's trading well, and I think that Tuchel said that he and Billy both are, then we could definitely see Tino Andrin tomorrow. And like you said, I need to see Pulisic back in the side. What the heck is going on? This man has not started under Tuchel, and I'm tired of it. I know he hasn't been playing well, but I just want to see. You guys know that I'm a big Pulisic fan. I just want to give him time to give him some game time to try to get back into it. And he also has been playing on the right, which I really don't understand still. I don't think that he's very effective on the right at all as he is on the left. But I assume Pulisic starts for you tomorrow as well.
Yeah. Pulisic starts for the minutes. He's not started a game under Tuchel. So yeah, he definitely starts. And then, as I say, it depends. If Andrin starts, then I play Ziyech on the right and then give Callum a rest. But otherwise, start Callum. And then hopefully Tammy gets the nod up front.
Yeah, that's another thing that Tammy he's been playing a few games here and there, but I don't think that he's been playing as much as he probably should, because I do think that he should probably be the second striker, and we kind of see it alternating between him and Giroud. And I don't think that Giroud has necessarily been incredible when he's come on the pitch. I do think versus Sheffield, I think that Tuchel was expecting them to sit back like many of many of us, including myself, did. But then when they played further up the pitch, it was a surprise, and it basically took Giroud out of the game because he's really a target man that you have. Like if you are trying to create space or cross the ball, and I didn't think that he had an amazing performance, so I definitely would try to start Tammy in this game. Or you could start Timo and try to get him some goals, but I do think that since Timo has been playing, maybe he'll be rested today or tomorrow. Sorry. What do you think?
Yeah, I think Tammy needs the start, to be honest. I thought Giroud against Sheffield United was pretty poor. He didn't really offer a huge amount. And look, I know Tammy had a pretty shocking 45 minutes against Burnley and got subbed at half time, but I think he needs to be given a proper chance. And look, he got a hat-trick in the last round of the FA Cup, so give him a chance. And look, he's more than capable of performing against this opposition, and he scored against them earlier in the League Cup this season. So Tammy for me has got to start tomorrow.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And I was just going to a quick question. Dan asks, is this new background? I like it. Yeah, I want to give a shout out to Jack. I don't know how to pronounce his last name, Cleveley. I'm totally butchering it, but I'll put his handle in my description because he made this background and it's super cool. So thank you so much, Jack, for that. I'm just gonna go through some more comments that we get. My stomach, like literally my growl on this. I'm so hungry. I can't even tell you guys. Let's see. And just so tactical football as Chelsea buying Haaland. Is this rumor true? I think that basically any team will go in for Haaland, like if they could, right? I don't know why Chelsea didn't go in for him when after Salzburg, because we were looking for a striker and it was like a mid-season transfer as well. But everybody's going to be competing for this guy. Like he's going to have his pick of whichever team he wants to go to, honestly. Oh, there's a question for you, Nick. Insane Thoughts asks, are you happy with Chelsea formation or do you want a change?
The formation is getting results, and results are what we need, so I'm quite happy with the formation. You know, the lineups perhaps aren't the most inspiring to people, and I get that, but Tuchel was brought in to get results and to get top four and try and sort of recover this season. So if he's getting results with the lineup, you know, and for the formation, that's absolutely fine with me.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. Like I said, I've been saying I sound like a broken record, but we're not going to see this formation, I think, forever. We are going to change it based on the team that we play. I think next season, especially once Tuchel has a preseason with the players and really has more time, he can experiment with different formations and see how he wants to play moving forward. So we're not going to see just this, and I think that it's going to be very flexible. So Michael says, hi, Nick and Elizabeth, love your content. My question is, you think that we can win a few trophies under Tuchel, and you think that we can win the league? So I really like him. It's so early, so I feel weird being so optimistic about it, because, you know, it could just be a new manager bounce. There always is. But I feel really comfortable with his tactics, and I really like how he can analyze a player's strengths and weaknesses. And I think that, for example, Timo, we've seen him improve absolutely massively in the past couple of games. The last game, he was man of the match, even though he didn't score, got a really great assist and won the penalty. And I think we're also seeing that the team is adjusting a little bit to his style. So we're starting to see that we were seeing that Timo was making runs and nobody was really picking them out. And I think we're starting to see that people are starting to pick out his runs a little bit more as well. So I really like him, and I don't think that we're going to win the league this year at all. But next year, I think that we definitely could be contenders. What about you?
I think Tuchel can definitely win us trophies. You know, it's proven that managers on the whole come to Chelsea and they win trophies regardless of who's around. And he's got a good squad to work with. So yeah, I definitely think he'll win trophies. As for winning the league, we'll have to see. I think at times people get carried away with this squad we've got because of how good it can be, but they also forget that it's a pretty young squad and it's going to take time. And these players aren't the finished article. Just because they have a big fancy price tag and they come from a different club and not from the academy doesn't mean, you know, they're anywhere near a finished article and good enough to win us a league. So look, we could win a league. I think we're going to win the league this? Well, no, obviously we're not going to win the league this year. Could we win it next year? It honestly depends, but I think it's still maybe a bit early. I think this squad is still a young squad, and I think we probably need to try and there's still a lot of areas I think we need to improve in this squad. So, but I think why not? We could get there.
Yeah, no, I definitely think so as well, and I think that the lack of preseason really affected us as well. But with that preseason, Tuchel's going to also be able to kind of see what gaps he wants to fill, and hopefully we can address it in the summer transfer window as well. And it's going to be an interesting transfer window. I'm seeing a lot of people talking about Alaba, Upamecano. I probably butchered that. So do you think I saw a question, but I kind of lost it. Oh, here. Vivikas. Well, he says we need to buy a world-class center back this summer who will suit Thiago Silva. And I do think as Thiago gets older, we're not going to necessarily see him play each and every match, but I do think he's such an important aspect to this team as well. And we've just seen basically whatever center back is next to him looks so much stronger just because they have Thiago Silva next to them. So do you have any? I don't really have any center backs on my radar, but is there anybody that you're looking at, hopeful that Chelsea will get?
Oh, look, no, honestly, I couldn't answer that question. I don't know what the Sergio Ramos situation is. I thought, was he out of contract in Madrid? Get him to Stamford Bridge. We get a character like him. But honestly, in terms of top centre backs, I probably don't watch enough football outside of the Premier League or outside the Champions League. So I'm probably not the best person to ask that. But look, I think whoever, it's not even necessarily this summer get a top class centre back, but we will need to obviously try and replace Thiago Silva when the time comes, but I think there's no doubt that he can definitely have a big impact on the players around him. And even looking at Kurt Zouma this season, looks a completely different player to last season with someone like Thiago Silva back, someone to guide him. So, yeah, I think, get a world-class centre-back when we can, hopefully. But again, we've got some, talented youngsters coming through as well. So it's about trying to nurture them and get the right balance.
And nobody better for them to learn from than Thiago Silva, honestly. Sid Heish goes, we must bring back Tomori. He's doing really great at Milan. Hope we don't sell him. Unfortunately, there's a buy option for Milan in his contract, so he's probably going unless they can't raise the funds for whatever reason. But I understand it. I'm upset as a Chelsea fan that he isn't going to be playing for Chelsea because I do think that he's a really great talent, but he wasn't getting the minutes, and I think it's it speaks so highly of Chelsea's academy that we have so many young players that are coming through, and unfortunately there's just not going to be spots for all of them, and it's really unfortunate, but it happens, and I don't blame him for wanting to get more game time at all. That brings me to somebody else, Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Do you see him coming back into the Chelsea squad, or do you think his time is done?
Oh, that's like $1 million question, isn't it? We've got no idea with.
That's a hard question,
Ruben. Look, I think the moment we signed Kai Havertz, that was one sort of foot out of the door for Ruben. If I'm being completely honest, given his injury record, is he going to be the most reliable player to have around? What he needs is just minutes under his belt, and he's thankfully getting that at Fulham, and by all accounts, is impressing quite well there. But do I think he'll make it? It depends. I honestly couldn't answer that. I hope he does, because what we saw pre-injury of Ruben was really exciting. We looked like we had a really proper player there, and he was arguably at the time probably our most important player behind Eden Hazard. So we've got, we can hope that again, looking at, we've got Tino Andrew, I think is probably quite a similar style player, and who's just a younger version of him as well. So throwing the fact that you've got, Conor Gallagher impressing on loan at West Brom, it's going to be tough. When you're at a club at Chelsea, it's always going to be survival of the fittest, and ultimately this club isn't going to hang around and wait for you to show yourself. They're going to go out and be wanting to buy top quality every summer. So look, if Ruben makes it, then credit to him, because he'll be of his own doing and his own hard work. But I have my doubts as to whether Ruben Loftus-Cheek will make it as a Chelsea player, unfortunately.
It just makes me so sad, because he was making it in that 2018-19 season, and then that injury just really set him back, and like we know what an incredible player is, and we see him getting closer and closer to that player, but just not at it yet. And the squad is so bloated. But I think if we sell a couple of players, perhaps we could see him, but the odds are not in his favor. They really are not. And he's already getting older as well. But I really hope for him that he does, because I love him as a player as well. Thank you for coming in, Baggy TV. Really appreciate it. Really nice of you to drop by. So I'm just gonna wrap it up here. What's the score prediction for you for tomorrow?
I will say 2-0 to Chelsea.
Nice. And on Eunice's channel, I said 3-0, so I got to be consistent and stick with that. I'm hoping that we can put a couple of goals past Barnsley. If we can't, I'm going to be a little upset. So hopefully we can start seeing the team score more goals, get a bit more confidence, continue the win run as well, and hopefully it's a really good game. But Nick, thank you so much for joining me, guys. This is a bit shorter episode. I'm about to pass out from hunger, so I really need to try to eat dinner. It's really early for Chelsea dinner. For Spanish dinner time, it's only 7:30. But I probably will just have a snack and have dinner at 9 when my husband comes home. So I need something to tide me over, you guys. But Nick, anyways, I'm going on and on. Thank you so much for joining me. Let everybody know where they can find you.
Yep. So we're on Twitter at @ChelseaPod. As the name suggests, we do a Chelsea podcast. As we mentioned, sort of at the very beginning of the stream, Ellie was kind enough to join us a few weeks ago to look back at the game against Fulham. If you guys have watched those streams, Carefree Jam has also been on our pod a few times, and we've got. If you're on Chelsea Twitter, our guest, you might recognise, and we've had a few notable faces, I guess, from Chelsea Twitter, and a few guys from, the Chelsea Social as well. So look, come on, follow us, listen to our pod. Hopefully you enjoy, and yeah, that's I think all I've got to say. Cheers, Ellie, for having me on.
Yeah, it's a very good pod, so definitely suggest you guys listen to it. And like James says, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, because it literally helps me out so much more than you could possibly know. So if you like this video, please drop it a like and subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. And thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. And until next time, I'm out.